I'm on live. You've disappeared. I think I'm live. Good morning, everybody. Um, I was a minute ago talking to Michelle, but she just disappeared. So anyway, so there she is.
I'm right here.
She's back again. Can you tell me if I'm live? Because I can't really
Yes, you are
see.
very
There
live.
we go then. So good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And let me see then. Well, first of all, I'd like to say good morning to my spirit guide, Grey Eagle, who, as you all know by now, is right at my right side. And I'd also like to say good morning to Kachoro. I've already said good morning to him. He's already eaten. He's had his breakfast. Uh, he's asleep in the corner. You might know he's just asleep in the corner. And then Michelle, I would like to say good morning to Michelle. Michelle and I are doing this sort of from a distance. It's quite good, really, isn't it, Michelle, how we do this? It seems to work.
It does work.
So I've got Michelle on my FaceTime, I think. Are we on FaceTime, Michelle?
We are on FaceTime.
And but she's watching the show from my iPad, I think, or computer.
No, I'm
or
watching
your
the show from the laptop.
Oh, so she's watching the show from my laptop. Okay, she's got all my stuff over there. All right, so before we begin, I have to tell you that I'm in the doghouse, so to speak, with my daughter because yesterday. Have you ever had one of those days when you just want to eat something different, something nice, something out of the ordinary, like a real dinner? And I don't really eat real dinners when I'm on my own. I'm sure lots of people who are on their own don't really. We don't make the meat and two veg just for ourselves. But yesterday I was sort of sitting reading outside in the sunshine. It was about 6 o'clock, and I thought, what can I have to eat? And I remembered that I'd got this frozen shrimp, which is all fish is good to freeze. So I thought, I've got some shrimp. And for those of you who are British, prawns, because in England, shrimp are the little tiny little things, and the prawns are the big fat things. So I'd got some of those, and I had some spaghetti, and I don't even care for pasta that much. But guess what? I thought I'm going to make some pasta with some shrimp. And when you look in the cupboard and you just find things that you could put in there. So it was a simple dish. I threw the pasta in the water. I had a little bit of heavy cream left, so I made the shrimp. I cooked the shrimp in a little bit of butter and garlic paste. I'm sort of salivating as I'm talking about it right this minute. Then I drained out the pasta, and using the same pan, I put a little drop, about an ounce of cream, and mixed it with the garlic butter that I'd cooked the shrimp in. Oh gosh, it does sound good, doesn't it? Put in lots of fresh ground black pepper, tossed in the pasta, threw the shrimp on the top, and bingo. And I couldn't eat all of it, so I've got the rest later on today. I'm so looking forward to it. So quick, so easy. And I was thinking to myself, I bet I could do this on YouTube. Have you been watching Gordon Ramsay? Anybody? He's doing these 10-minute meals. He made 10-minute fish and chips. And I make fish and chips. I'm British. We make fish and chips all the time. But when you watch a chef, and especially a chef with the caliber of somebody like Gordon Ramsay, who is he's the best for me. I don't like his swearing, but I do love his cooking. And so I watched him make this, and he gave me the littlest tip. It's the smallest tip. I had never ever thought of putting baking soda in my batter mix. Who would have thought that? And there it is, and that's how you get that bubbly, crispy, delicious batter. So haven't made it yet, but I'm going to experiment with it sometime, maybe over the weekend. So I'm thinking, I made this shrimp, and I'm thinking I could do a 10-minute. It took me probably 10 minutes to make this. I can do a shrimp and pasta for 10 minutes. So you never know. Keep watching because not that I'm ever going to be in competition with Gordon Ramsay. He's way too beyond me. He's so way good. But I thought, I bet I could do this on YouTube and we could have just a bit of a giggle and see. It might take me 12 minutes. You never know. But I might just do it one day. So keep just watch for that little video. Right. Do we?
I actually make something that's very similar to that.
Oh, you
that
do?
the kids love.
Oh, okay. Well, what we'll do is one day, Michelle, I think we'll sort of swap some recipes and maybe we'll just do a little show in my kitchen and Michelle can come in. Definitely, I want Gwendolyn, Michelle's daughter, to come in because she's such a love. She's just a gorgeous little love in the kitchen and she does all the prep work and all the rest of it. So we'll actually have her in the kitchen as well. Maybe we'll do a couple of kitchen shows for you all just for fun. Having said that, if you want to go into YouTube and you'll see Rosemary's Kitchen, it's actually Rosemary Altea's kitchen because there's another Rosemary who does a kitchen show as well. I've never watched that Rosemary. I don't know how good she is, but if you want to find mine, you'll find... Let me see, what have we made so far? Chocolate truffles, a delicious, I can't remember. I'll have to go in there. Decorating the Christmas cake with my grandson is in there as well. Oh, I know what we made. We made this delicious risotto, mushroom risotto, which is one of my favourites. Easy to make and absolutely delicious. And when you put it on the table, everybody thinks that you've gone to so much trouble to make it. But no, there are little tricks of the trade. If you want to go into the Rosemary Altea's kitchen, you can see me cooking up a storm. And of course, shortbread, chocolate covered shortbread with Reese, where he's sort of just covered in chocolate. It's so much fun. Enough of the cooking. You think, when is she going to stop talking, this woman? I'm going to stop talking. Michelle, do we have anybody there? Is there anybody
We have lots
there?
of people on with us this morning. Everybody's listening to your cooking.
All right, so moving on. Do we have any questions?
We do.
Right, okay then.
We're going to start off this morning.
I'm all ears, I'm all ears, I'm all ears.
Kitty's on and she says, good morning, Rosemary and Michelle.
Good morning, Kitty.
Dean is on.
Morning,
He
Dean.
said, my daughter wonders if there are events like holidays in the spirit world.
There are, oh, good question. Do you know, Dean, I don't think I've ever been asked that question before. Let me think. I know that there are celebrations. Whether you would count them as holidays, I don't know. But I definitely know that there are celebrations. And there are, I'm listening to Gregor now, there are times when we can just go off and rest. Chill out, hang out, float on clouds. He's laughing at me now. I think he might be teasing. So maybe, yes, maybe there are such things as holidays, resting times and, times of contemplation and so on. And, everybody's idea of a holiday is different than everybody else's idea of a holiday. Here's my idea of a holiday. This is my absolute perfect idea of a holiday. Going with my daughter and my grandson to Italy to visit with my friend Massimo, who has these gorgeous properties, being fed, being given delicious food, being able to sit by the pool with great company, going into a gourmet kitchen with a chef who is a 5-star or whatever chef, and helping cook in the kitchen. Is this a good holiday for you? Does this sound like a good holiday? But also having time by the beach and getting on a plane and whisking myself off to England to be with my friends. So I'm not sure about the cooking part, but everything else I probably could do in the spirit world, and certainly being with friends is what I could do in the spirit world as well. So that would be a great, great holiday for me. I don't even know if I answered your question, Dean, but anyway, there you go. Next, Michelle.
Maggie would like to know the food that you make for Cachurro. How do you make it?
Oh, well, I'm really careful with what I give to him because as he's an older dog, he's sort of, he can't have an awful lot of protein anymore. One with one thing or another. But actually, what I do is I'll grind. I'll actually this is I roast a chicken. I have the breast, he has the legs. I have the wings, he has the thighs. He has all of the underneath. Sometimes I'll just chop it small and sometimes I'll just grind it up. It depends, really. And then I'll put in all the meat juices with his, I don't need them, with his stuff, and I just sort of nicely chop it up nice and small, and then I bag it up. And I usually bag it in because remember, he's not allowed to have a lot of protein. So I'll bag it into 4 ounce little plastic sandwich bags and put them in the freezer, and then I'll take them out and before I give it to him, I'll add just a little drop of water, mix it in with his regular meal, and that's it really. Liver, he loves liver, so I'll fry up the liver and just chop that up, put a little water in there, and he loves liver. What else do I give him? Oh, ground beef, which I also cook. I'll get ground beef, and again I'll bag it to put it into 4 ounce bags, and then he'll have half one day and half the next. I feed him twice a day. What is this about feeding and food and so on? But I don't give him canned food. Some canned food is brilliant, some of it's great, but at least when I give it to him myself, and I give him really, really good meal. Michelle, what is the meal that we give to the dog? Michelle gets mine for me. What is it? Can you remember?
Um, it's a salmon and tuna base.
Yeah, I give him, and it's a Purina, I think.
I think it's the Smart Blend
Smart
Purina
blend
one, I
Purina,
think.
and he loves the salmon. The salmon, there's a salmon and tuna, and he absolutely loves that. So I mix it in with some of that, and he loves it. And if he's off his food for any reason and he hasn't eaten for a day or so, um, there's a product, and I can't remember what it is now, but it has these little granules, and you sprinkle them over the food. What it is if an animal is off his food, it's usually because of the smell, because it's the smell that attracts animals to their food. So if you make sure that there's a good aroma coming out of it, for instance, when I'm cooking my roast chicken, you can't get cachorro uh, out of the kitchen. He can smell that chicken going, and when I take it out, he's just looking at me, and you can see that he's salivating. He's just like, oh, is that for me? And he knows, of course, that it is. So always make sure when you're feeding your animals that there's a good, healthy, not an off smell. Don't give your animals food that's off, which is why I put mine in the freezer. Moving on, away from dogs and cats, maybe not away from dogs and cats. Michelle's got a new kitten at the moment, given to
We do.
her because its mama was killed, and
Yes.
and you're caretaking it at the moment. She says, I don't think I'm going to keep it. Well, we'll see, shall we? We'll see what
We're
happens.
probably going to end up with this kitten because I'm a sucker.
All right, let's go to some questions.
All right, Miguel is on.
Morning, Miguel.
He says, "Good morning, Rosemary. I'm not sure if you remember me, but I just wanted to let you know I got hired as a police officer in Oklahoma."
You have to remind me of why I would remember you. And I want the story, please. So give me the story. Just Miguel doesn't do it for me because I know a few Miguels. I mean, I could have met you in a restaurant. I don't know. Give me a clue. Come, please tell me the story. How did we meet? Because once you tell me how we met, I'm pretty sure I'm going to remember you. And I think that being hired as a police officer, you might be thrilled with that, right? Can you just give us the rest of the story, Miguel? Please? All right, let's go to the next question. I'm expecting you to respond, Miguel. Don't leave me hanging here. Okay, Michelle.
Maggie would like to know why you're in hot water with Samantha. She said that all your food sounded good.
Oh, well, So I say to my daughter, well, I made this delicious, and it really was actually really excellent, a really delicious spaghetti. And how many calories is that? She says. Then, so I have this great app. It's called, what is it called? My Fitness Pal. And you go into it and you actually literally, I don't bother with all the or most of the stuff, but what I really like about it is you put in what you've eaten through the day. It gives you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then it also sort of does snacks and drinks and stuff like that. And it will tell you how much sodium, how much sugar. I never worry about that. I only want to know what the calories are at the end of the day, and it's really really great. So I actually put this in. I put this in what I ate, and it it actually turns out that it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was sort of 500 and something calories, but throughout
So
the
that came
day.
from the pasta.
Pardon?
I said most of that came from the pasta.
Oh yeah, most of it came from the pasta, but the shrimp was quite high as well, actually. But I don't eat a great deal during the rest of the day, so I didn't even make it to 1,000 calories. I think altogether my whole day was about 900 and something calories, which is quite amazing, really. But this thing is so great because what it also does is, if any of you are struggling with weight, and I don't know if Wendy's there, but I keep meaning to tell Wendy about this great app because you just put it all in and it does it for you. But what it actually does is, then the next day and the next day, when you're making food, it's a reminder, really. You've got to put it into this diary at the end of the day, and it's a reminder for you to just not to starve, not to. I mean, look at me. I ate pasta with garlic shrimp cooked in a lovely garlic butter with sort of mixed with cream and a delicious sauce, and you'd think, wow, geez, look how many calories that is. But actually, 500 and some calories, and I still was under the I think this thing allows me 1,200 calories a day, and I never ever eat 1,200 calories, and I never skimp on food, right, Michelle? You don't ever see me. I'm not dieting. I'm just, so this works for me. So counting the calories means that I'm paying attention to what I'm just paying attention to what I'm eating, and when I come to have that extra sort of crusty piece of bread and butter, I can have it because I feel, well, I've got another 300 calories yet to eat, and I can have it, and that's fine. And if I go over, I go over, but I don't eat a great deal anyway. So anyway, it's called, again, for those of you who are interested, My Fitness Pal, and it's a blue square. And go into the App Store and you'll find it. It's free. Next. It also actually allows you to put in your own recipes, just so you know. So I can make Pardon?
I use a different one.
Oh, you do?
I use a different one that I like a lot, but it does a lot of the same things.
Oh, right.
I just pay more attention to my carbs. So mine's a more manager.
Yeah, I'm sure that there are loads of them out there, but that particular one really works for me. Michelle.
Next spot. Ornella's on.
Good morning, Ornella.
And she says, it's nice to see you.
And you.
Who is safe in the spirit world? The one who asks for forgiveness on his deathbed, and also the one who does not ask for forgiveness for different reasons.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat that question again? It sounds like an interesting question. Let me get it clear, can I?
Yes. She said she would like to know who is safe in the spirit world. The one who asks for forgiveness on his deathbed, and I think it means or the one who does not ask for forgiveness for different reasons.
I don't think it's about forgiveness. I have an odd take on forgiveness. I know that the church tells us that we should forgive, that everybody thinks that we should. I ask for forgiveness for ourselves, or we should give those people who, as you know, as the prayer says, trespass against us. Uh, um, I know that a lot of people are huge on forgiveness, but I would, when people say to me, you know, do you forgive your mother? Do you forgive your father? Do you forgive your friend for cheating on you? Whatever. I'm not about forgiveness because I don't feel that I, how can you forgive a person unless you know all of the details of who they are, what made them this way? I feel that forgiveness is much more the realm of God and the realm of our angels. What I feel is more important, certainly for me, is acceptance. And so I accept that this person is flawed. I accept that they maybe did something that either they meant to do or didn't mean to do. But I accept that they did it, and then I just accept them for the flawed human beings that they are, and I hope very much that they will accept me for the flawed human being that I am. When uh, when we pass into the spirit world, there is this point. We pass from this world, and you've heard it said many times, but it's true. You go into that light. There is this incredible, pure, beautiful, bright light. Here's what happens when you go into that light. That light shows everything. There is nowhere for you to hide. There is nowhere for you to, you might be a nice person on the outside, but have awful thoughts going on inside. There is simply nowhere for you to hide. Not only does everybody else see who you are, really who you are inside, your thoughts, your deeds, and so on. I think the worst thing for many people is that they actually are able to see themselves. If you can't accept that you're a flawed human being, you're going to have a lot of trouble standing in that light. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but there are people who cannot do it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to see themselves as they really are. But if you are brave enough and have enough faith and are courageous enough to stand in the light, because you know that that's where God is, and that's where your salvation is, and that's where your angels are. And if you stand in the light, it's hard, it's tough. You see all the things that you did do that you maybe shouldn't have. You see yourself as you really are, and that can be very tough for us. But if you're prepared to do that and to shine a light on truly who you are, God accepts you. You've stood there, you're in the light. No matter what you did, you chose the light. So this person who refuses to ask for forgiveness on his deathbed doesn't matter. What matters is when he reaches that place, will he stand in the light or will he stay in the darkness? And we have a choice when we pass. We can go to the light or we can go to that dark place. And the majority of us, I think, choose to stand in the light, thank goodness. I know that, we don't like it, do we? We hate it when somebody says, oh, well, I know what you're thinking, and they actually really do, and it might not be very nice. We're human with our human faults and failings. Not one of us is perfect. So I think more than forgiveness, I think the most important thing that we can possibly do in our lives is to learn to accept others for who they are, and also to accept ourselves for who we are, and try to be better at who we can possibly be. Next question, Michelle.
Miguel responded, you gave him a consultation last year.
I did.
About his mother, daughter, and uncle, and it was supposed to be a very short Skype call and turned into about an hour.
All right. I do vaguely remember this. I think it was longer than an hour, Miguel. If I remember correctly, I think it was way longer than an hour. I'm laughing. I want to know, ask him, is he happy? Because that is the most important thing. Is he thrilled to bits? Did I tell you, Miguel, that your life was going to change? Did I tell you about a new job or a new career? Can you let us know? Give us a bit more detail, please, my darling, because not so much for me, but for everybody else as well, and all of those people out there who can't afford a consultation, or prefer not to have a consultation, or are nervous about having a consultation, we'd love to know more, Miguel. We'd love your story. Please. Okay, keep going, Michelle.
Joy said that she was watching your cooking video on mushroom risotto yesterday, and she plans on making it, and she's very excited.
Who is this?
Joy.
Oh, Joy. Good, good. Now listen, don't rush that process. Ladle in that chicken stock, and oh, it's so good. It is really, really good. If you want to, you can also, instead of putting mushrooms in, you can put something else in. But I personally, it's my favorite risotto because I do love mushrooms. Michelle is already turning her nose up because she hates mushrooms.
No, I do not.
Oh, you don't?
No, I love mushrooms.
Oh, maybe it's somebody else.
It is not me.
All right then. Okay. Well, Joy, can you, when you make it, could you please let us know how you do with it and how good it tastes? Because oh golly, it really does taste good. Now I'll tell you something else. It's a food channel this morning. All right, it's so much better fresh. Any chef will tell you that. It is really, really good if you take it literally from the pan to the table. However, I have frozen this risotto. It's maybe not quite as good, but it's still darned good. So there. All right, next, Michelle.
The next one is from, their name is listed as Matrix.
And can we not have a food question?
It's not a food question.
Yes.
The name is listed as Matrix, so I don't know if it's a male, female.
Good morning, Matrix.
Whatever.
We don't care. Whatever you're comfortable with works for us. Yep, go ahead.
They say, I definitely felt an alien presence last night. It was very odd happenings.
Okay. Well, good for you. When you say alien, you know, the word alien is not just about little green men from Mars, you know. An alien, the word alien just means different or unusual to us, something that is strange or different to us. So Matrix, maybe you know who this presence is, maybe you have some idea, maybe it's somebody in the spirit world who wants to connect with you or just wants you to feel their presence. But I think that's wonderful. Good for you. All right, next.
Kitty would like to know.
Yes, Kitty.
Do spirits remember the day of their passing, and do they celebrate?
Yes. There, that's a simple one. Yes. There are tremendous celebrations when someone passes into the spirit world because, you know, you meet all your family, your friends, all your loved ones you never thought you were going to meet again. And although there is an awareness that those of us who are left behind are suffering and grieving, it is very important, I think, for us to realize that, you know, we celebrate birthdays, we celebrate anniversaries, and the anniversary of somebody's passing is actually, although we don't want to celebrate it because we miss them dreadfully, but as far as they're concerned, it is a celebration because it's a celebration of their life continuing. And when my father passed on the 13th of March, and it's so many years ago now, but every time the 13th of March comes around, I always send him a smile and a wave, just to acknowledge the day that he passed. Next, Michelle.
Ania is on.
Who?
Ania.
Okay.
And it says, hi, do you have any messages for me? Thanks.
No. But good morning, and thank you for joining us. Keep going, Michelle.
Maggie says that she has a question.
Okay.
She said she saw a golden light surrounding her mom before her mom passed.
Oh, nice.
But I don't think my sister and brothers did, as they looked at me and I was crazy. Why?
Why did they look at you as if you were crazy? Or why did you see the golden aura and they didn't? I think I'm going to answer that second one. I think that what you're seeing is the aura or the energy field that is around your mother as her energy is changing and becoming much more aware of that spiritual sense of herself, that inner spirit. And so she is becoming or joining that spiritual realm. Also, I'm sure she was seeing her angels or her some of her loved ones, maybe even, which again, you're going to see this incredible, beautiful golden glow. Sometimes it's almost white, or it can be white yellow, but it's the aura or the energy field that is changing as somebody is passing from this earth plane where we are so grounded, and many people rarely acknowledge that our soul, our spirit that is within us. But as we are moving and changing and becoming part of that light, then our aura, our energy field that surrounds us, of course, will change also. So why did you see it and not your sisters? Obviously, Maggie, in that moment in time, you were very much more aware, very much more sensitive, and and you were obviously in a place where you had unconsciously, you were raising your level of consciousness to a point where you were so tuned in and so connected with your mother and so sensitive to your mother and what was going on, that you were able to see, visually see. It's not at all unusual for one person to see an aura where others can't see anything. And I think I've told this story before about the old lady in the church who there was a new minister, and he stayed for several months in this church, and everybody in the church absolutely loved him. And this old lady, who she always had her own seat at the front of the church, and then this minister ran off and took all the money and all the rest of it with him. And everyone in the church was, they were all saying, how could he possibly have done that? We never saw this coming, and so on and so forth. And the old lady looked at them all, and she rarely said a word, and she looked at them and she said, but surely you could see his aura. Surely you could see it was in his aura that he was a bad person. So the whole church was unaware, and yet this old lady could absolutely see who he was, and not a bit surprised. So it's not unusual, Maggie, at all for one person to see when, and very often also, there are people who are so involved in their own grief that they can't connect, and you were obviously connecting with your mother in that moment, which is fantastic for you. They're fabulous, fabulous. Yes, next question.
Jojo was on.
Pardon?
Jojo.
Morning, Jojo.
It says, hi, I lost my mom in July of 2018. Is there any message for me from her or her spirit, or a spirit, please?
Michelle and I had this little conversation yesterday, didn't we, Michelle? People, when you talk about spirits, it gives an impression of sort of some wispy something or another. I always refer to those in the spirit world as people in the spirit world. So I think you're asking, are there any people in the spirit world who wish to connect with you? I was actually going to say we don't do this on the show, and I'm laughing because I always say that and we often end up doing it. But Jojo, whether or not this is your mother, I've got Greagle's hand on my shoulder, and I can tell you that there is a lady, and I don't know who she is connected to, but I know that she is connected to you, who had some awful trouble with her throat and sort of in this area here, some sort of a choking sensation, but more than that, I think. So I can tell you that you do have those in the spirit world who are with you. I'm sure your mother's with you, and so so just keep spending 10 minutes every day. Just give her a little bit of time, and she'll talk to you, she'll connect with you. I don't know who this lady is with the throat issues, but Greg again has put his hand on my shoulder. I have to tell you that. And no longer has the throat issues. Let's make that clear. No longer has those issues. No longer has the breathing issues, and is well and healthy now. So, okay, have I confused you completely? We'd love to know whether I've confused you or not. I'd love to know. Right, next, Michelle.
Miguel said, yes, it was quite a long Skype call, but you did say that I would eventually get the job as an officer.
Yay!
And he said that, yes, I am very happy now that I got the job, but it's hard because it's the same department that I was in the hiring process for when we found out my daughter was going to pass away.
Well, that's tough, but guess what, Miguel? This is an opportunity. And, you know, I'm sure that your loved ones in the spirit world are with you. And, you know, just hang in there. And you know my number, you know my email, rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. Please email me, tell me how you're getting on. And if you need anything, just let me know, my darling. Be happy. That's the thing. I'm excited for you. All right, next, Michelle.
Megan is on.
Morning, Megan.
And Megan says, good morning, my dear friends. Michelle and Rosemary, you are always bring the sunshine. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, the one thing that I really, really love about Michelle is that, not that it's happening very frequently anymore, you understand, because we have to stay away from each other, but whenever she walks in the door, she's always got a smile. Doesn't matter whether she's having a rough day, a tough day, or whatever. She always walks in, morning, she says. And sometimes I think, really? Then I say, morning. So if she's feeling down, I lift her up. And if I'm feeling down, she lifts me up. I don't really feel down that often these days. Am I such a lucky person? Next, Michelle. Thank you, darling. What?
The next one is from Maggie.
Again, Maggie, keep coming.
Maggie's
keep
on
coming.
it today.
Keep going, darling.
Rosemary, I asked for rolling out the troops for my daughter in the interview for grad school. You said the troops were out, but it would go as expected. You were right, and other things might occur.
Well, I'm glad I'm right. You know,
she said that with all the COVID stuff, her daughter's reevaluating what she wants to do.
Good, but you know, let her find her way. I think eventually she'll come right back to, you know, the beginning. But I love this. I really love this. I love to hear people's stories. I love to hear. I'm going to laugh. I love to hear how right I am. You do know, don't you, that what I'm actually saying when I say that, everybody, is that it's really not me who's right, is it? This information is coming from a much higher source than me. I get it whispered in my ear, and I always look then like I'm the great one, that I know everything, and I'm always right about these things. But the truth of the matter is, I know nothing. I only know what they tell me. So Miguel, you know, remember, and Maggie, remember the source of the information, because although I may be the conduit between the two worlds, I'm actually not the source of the information. Next, Michelle.
All right, the next one we have is Megan said, my daughter, I think it's Bianca, is watching for the first time with me, and she would like to know if dogs reincarnate like in the movies.
Do they reincarnate?
Yeah, like the movie, have you ever seen that movie, A Dog's Purpose?
Oh, yeah, no. Look, we're hoping it's Bianca. So, because I would hate to say, now look here, Bianca, and it's not Bianca at all, it's another name, but I have a whole different view on reincarnation than many people do. I never personally have experienced an animal reincarnated, but I do know that animals do survive death, and I do know, we talked about this, was it yesterday on our healing channel? We do on Wednesday afternoons, we do a Hands Around the World Healing, and you might want to go check it out, Bianca, because we do talk about dogs and cats and what happens to our beloved pets when they pass. So check it out. Same channel, Rosemary Altea channel, obviously, but go into the Healing Hands Around the World, and you'll find that show. But I've seen, and yesterday, in fact, I saw Nino, my beautiful Labrador, and I told a little story about him yesterday. I don't see him very often, but he and Cachorro had a really, really amazing relationship. So, and as much as I love to see him, I also know that he's close, because my little boy, my Cachorro, I know doesn't have too much longer before he'll be passing. His legs are all already starting to go under him a little bit. In fact, I put him on a diet. I can't remember who said, how do you feed your puppy? I don't know if it was Maggie, but I'm giving him less because as he gets older, he's getting heavier. So, all right, moving on. I don't know if that answers your question, my darling, but moving on.
Jojo said yes, she had lung cancer. That it's her mom for sure, and thank you very much.
Oh, my darling, it's so much of a pleasure. I did think it might be your mum, but I wasn't 100% sure. So, and you know, it's like such a brief thing, but the way she was describing her throat and her breathing and so on, you know, we have to be really careful, because it's so easy to make assumptions, and I could easily have made an assumption that it was cancer, but I have to be really careful not to make assumptions. And it wasn't said that it was cancer, but I do know that she had some difficulty at some point, probably towards the end, in swallowing and, you know, having difficulties around here. She's well, she's happy. And listen to this, she came through this morning to give you a message. So we have to thank Gregel for that, because Gregel is the one who helped her to do this for us today. Next, Michelle.
Megan has one more question, and she said that
you can have as many as you like, darling, as long as we've got time. We'll do our best to answer.
She said that Bianca, which is her daughter that's watching with her today, is wondering if her baby sister has any messages. Since she went to heaven, we have little signs, like little silly things missing, and we all search and they end up being found right where we all looked.
I didn't quite get the last part. Something about where you looked. What was that?
Little silly things have gone missing, and when they go searching, they end up finding them where they've all already looked.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, you know,
little games.
I think, Bianca, you're asking me a question that you already know the answer to, young lady. I'm absolutely certain that your sister is with you. I'm absolutely certain she's not such a baby anymore. And I'm absolutely certain that what she's trying to do is to get your attention. And many people in the spirit world do this. They, you know, they have a little mischief. They play mischievous tricks on us sometimes, but it's really about sort of letting us know, I'm here, I'm with you. And I think this is what your sister's trying to do. Just watch your lights, because I think you'll find they'll start going on and off. Now you've made this connection, and now you know already. I didn't need to tell you that she was there with you. You know that already. So hopefully what I'm doing is just merely confirming what you know already. But I think that, you know, paying a little bit more attention to her, talking to her. Don't forget to listen to her, though, because we often, when we're talking to our loved ones in the spirit world, we talk and talk, and we end up talking at them rather than to them. So when you're talking to her, give her a chance to answer you, and pay attention to those thoughts that go through your head, those little things that sort of filter through. You know, don't be surprised if you hear, you know, if you say, for instance, if you say, are you happy? And she says yes, because that's what I'm hearing her saying to you right now, to you and to your mum. She absolutely wants you to know that she's happy and that she's with you. Also, Bianca wasn't expecting this bit, but hey, Gregor does funny things sometimes. I am to tell you, I think you know this already, but I'm to tell you that your baby sister, as you call her, who's not such a baby anymore, is your angel and will be always, every step of the way, with you through your life and watching you and guiding you. Let's have our next question.
The next one is from Dean.
Good morning, Dean. I hope you got my stuff. But anyway, go ahead.
He says, my paternal grandmother and I were very close, and we even shared the same birthday, May 13th. When she passed, I was 13. I have never felt her with me, and she didn't speak at my consultation. Is she around?
Yes, why didn't you ask for her, Dean? She maybe needed you to get your life in order. But I'm actually looking, I'm not looking for your grandmother so much. I'm looking at Grey Eagle to see if he has anything to say to you, and use your bubble, because she's always there waiting for you. So use your bubble, and we can talk about that later, can't we? Everybody else is thinking, use your bubble, what does that mean? But we know, Dean, don't we? We know exactly what it means. We'll talk later about that. Next question, Michelle.
Andrea is on.
Morning, Andrea.
Says, hello, Rosemary. I want to know if my parents have something to tell me. They both passed away, and thank you for your help.
Not, except the glib stuff. I hate saying this glib stuff because it sounds like I'm just saying it just because. But I'm asking Grey Eagle about your parents, darling, and I'm sort of, I keep getting brief glimpses of actually not just 2 people but 3 people here connected to you, this, we really don't have too much time on this show, but let me just say that they are well and they are happy, and they're pointing at you. I was wondering for a minute if they were pointing at me, but they're pointing at you and asking, this is a request, would you please be happy? Could you please find a way to be happy? They are guiding you, they are steering you to help you to find a way to be happy, my love. Yep, next question.
Jojo said, thank you again. 3 days after her passing, I had a dream of her and my uncle singing via con Dios to me, sounding absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing your gift. I truly appreciate your message.
Very welcome, Jojo. Very, very welcome. Let's keep going.
Maggie says, oh, bright spot on my accident. When they were fixing my car, they found a necklace I thought I had lost. It has a bit of my daughter in it and the cross she had. So that's great, Maggie.
Well, actually then, that bears out the fact, Maggie, there are no accidents, doesn't it? Everything happens for a reason. I am so, so thrilled for you. I'm sure that you'd rather buy a new car and gain that necklace, right? So, not that I hope you have to, but still, what a fantastic, fantastic gift. Yeah. Keep going.
Maggie finished it up with, tell my daughter thank you, I think, in finding the necklace, but let's do it in a different way from now on.
Yeah, well, you have a very nice, you have some very nice repair people, because I remember my car going in for a service and I'd forgotten that I'd left a very heavy gold ring, which I loved. It was a half sovereign gold ring, which I absolutely loved, and I'd forgotten that I'd left it in the, the thing, in that little drawer thing, and I called them to tell them I've left my ring there, and they told me, oh no, sorry, it's not, no, nothing's there. So I know that someone in that garage pinched it, and If they stole it, they must have needed it more than I did at the time. It was, not nice. But again, let's go back to accepting. It's not about forgiveness. It's just about, you just have to accept if someone's a thief, they're a thief. Just stay away from them. Don't worry about it. Just keep clear of them, and move on with your life. I still would love to replace that ring, but there we have it. I'm never going to. So let's go. I have others, look. It's not like I'm desperate for jewelry here, is it? So let's go.
Terry says, I love when you give messages.
Who's this?
Terry.
Morning, Terry. I love it too. I really, really love it too.
And then we have Megan said, oh my goodness, thank you so much, my dear. Tears of pure happiness. You shared so much love for us, and you were so right. She would be 8 now. The lights are 100%, and it's been an ongoing joke. But we had no idea it was her because my son's an electrician and my husband's a general contractor.
Oh, well, guess what? I can tell you right now, they'll never fix the lights. If your daughter does not want them to fix the lights, they will absolutely not fix those lights. Just her way of saying, hey, it's me, let's flick a switch. She's trying to get your attention, which is lovely. Now she has your attention, maybe she'll get your attention in different ways. So keep paying attention. Look out for feathers. There. Next, keep going.
Roxanne is on, and she said, good morning.
Good morning, darling.
She said, so my bathroom lights flashing this morning, could it be a sign from my son?
I think so. I think it might be from what but let me just check, because it's so easy to say yes, isn't it? And it might just be just a fluke. You might have had an electrical storm or something. But Roxanne, I sent you some little details about your board, and I don't know if you got it. I hope you got it. As I hope Dean got his and Kitty got hers and so on. I'm not at all surprised, having looked at your board and having written to you what I did. I'm not at all surprised that your son is trying to let you know that he's around you, my lovely. See? Just let it flow. Let it flow. Okay. Keep going, Michelle. How are we doing? We seem to have quite a few people watching the show this morning.
We've been a busy little bee on here this morning.
Okay.
We are actually, at this moment in time, we are all caught up with our comments and questions.
Oh, that's it then. Shall we finish? Shall we end the show?
We can end the show and have lunch.
Bacon sandwiches or something like that. There's something else just popped up on my screen. I don't know. Here's the rule. Here's the rule. You've got to keep it coming. Yeah.
Kitty said, you are so bubbly today. It is beautiful and contagious.
Oh, good. Good. I'm always bubbly, Kitty. I always try to be bubbly, and I always try to be sort of happy and uplifting. Who on earth wants to listen to somebody who's all doom and gloom anyway? So we don't want to do that. I'm thinking of another quick recipe, and instead of putting cream and garlic butter in your pasta, what I like to do is I make my homemade pesto. Somebody asked for the recipe, and they were going to make the pesto recently, and I want to know if they did. So if you're out there, you're listening, and you're the one who told me I'm going to make the pesto, it might have been Wendy. I need to know. Let me know, because I want to know how it worked out for you. Another good tip with spaghetti or pasta of any kind is just to get a good spoonful of when I make my pesto, I make it really thick, and then when I'm cooking with it, I'll just add more olive oil to thin it down. So a good spoon of nice thick pesto, little olive oil, toss it in the spaghetti, or toss the spaghetti in that, little tiny dash of cream. Oh yes, it's so good, so good. We're getting more people.
She said she's making it tomorrow.
Pardon?
It was Wendy, and she said she's making it tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Well, you know where I am, Wendy. If as you're making it and it doesn't look right, just call me. Next, keep going.
Let's see. Maggie says, wait, I can ask more. Roxanne said, I did thank you. I have had a hard time trusting myself.
Well, I know that. I absolutely know that. But hopefully, given time and doing the exercises and learning to have faith, I think we all have that issue of sort of, you know, we hear something or we sense something or we see something and we think, oh, it's my imagination. We don't necessarily think that it's anything that we should pay attention to. But eventually, if you apply the 3-time rule especially, eventually you'll know that it's not your imagination, that it is actually quite real, and you can learn to trust what is happening around you, and you also learn to trust your own self and your own sense of things that are happening that's different. And there'll come a time, the more you do this, the more you learn. You don't even have to apply the 3-time rule anymore, because you either know that it's real, or you know that it's your imagination. You'll just know. You'll cross that line where you just will know. I can see other questions and comments popping up, so let's do a couple more.
Roxanne said she came across his baby blue newborn hat yesterday.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Baby blues, soft greens, better energy. You should know, because I've written this to you, so you should know this. But how fantastic, how fantastic. Oh, nice. Yeah, keep going.
Maggie says that she had to say that she's going back to her normal work schedule.
Oh.
But I like this new COVID one. Any chance I can work it in every now and then?
Oh, well, you know, put it out to the universe, Maggie. Put it out there to the universe. And yeah, there's going to be a big shock, I think, with lots of people, because on the one hand, oh gosh, I'm so bored, I'm so this, and what am I going to do? So you're not hearing any of that anymore, are you? People are loving it now. People are loving the idea that they, you know, that they have this time. And I've said to my daughter all the way through, it's going to be a very, very long time before you have this time again with your family, this big block of time when you're with your family. Treat it as a gift, because it doesn't come often, and time goes so fast. And if you make the most of the time that you've had with your family, with your friends, with your whoever, just, you know, don't complain, I'm bored. Do something, create something, go in the kitchen. That's what I like to do, go in the kitchen. I made ginger fairlings the other day. Oh, they're gingery and crispy, and they're just so good. Oh, I better not say that anymore, because my daughter will say, calories, calories. Anyway, next, Michelle.
Let's see what else we got going on. Wendy said that she knows it's going to be good, and that she doesn't have your phone number, so hopefully she can make it with no problems.
Oh, I'll let you have my phone number, Wendy. If you have an Apple, an Apple phone or an iPhone, we can FaceTime. Ha! And I could be in your kitchen and you can be in mine. So we'll do something about that later tonight. I'll give you my private number. I can't believe I'm saying this. Don't overuse it. Next, keep going. Anything else going on here?
Maggie said that she's 2 hours from work, so this new schedule is very nice.
Yeah.
Nathan is on.
Morning, Nathan.
And he said that he just wanted to say thank you, dear Sister Rosemary.
Oh.
Hope all is well, 2020 to 2025.
Thank you. Yeah, I can live with that. That's good. That's good. Whose birthday was it? It was Dean's birthday. So Dean's birthday is next week. So if I forget, Dean, happy birthday to you. And of course, if I may just remind everyone, we have our competition, because it's at my birthday competition. Here it is the competition in two parts. The first part, what is the best advice that you have ever received? What was it and why? And second part, what is the best advice you've ever given to somebody else? What was it and why do you think it was the best and what happened and so on? Please do not write a whole litany because I have to read them all. We need your, it's a very simple competition. We need your entries in by May 18th because my birthday is May 19th. And I'm taking the opportunity. My daughter is upset because she's out of work right now. She has no money. I don't know what to send you for your birthday. She called me this morning and I said, you know what? I want my grandson to write me a story and make me a card and just send me something like that, and that's more than enough for me. So it's my turn to give out. I shan't be getting any birthday gifts, so it's my turn to be giving out birthday gifts to all of you who win the competition. We're going to have lots of winners, so please just, send in your entries. Make sure in the email rosemary@rosemaryaltair.com that you put in the subject line competition so Michelle can get it nice and quick and easy. Again, two parts. The first part, what is the best advice that you were ever given? Did you take it? I mean, what happened? And what is the best advice that you ever gave to somebody else? Who was it you gave the advice to, do you think, and did they take it, and what happened? And you can write in, you can put in as many entries as you like. Email your answers to rosemary@rosemaryaltair.com. We should be reading one or two of them out at some point, maybe not this next week but the week after. You've got 2 weeks, perhaps even less than 2 weeks, to get going on this, so let's have your entries in quick. Please share this competition, share this show with anybody and everybody, because that's how people get to know us and that's how people get to find us. So share. The prizes, we haven't quite decided, but there'll be books and CDs and maybe some guided meditations, and you never know what, and I'm not going to be very specific, but we'll send you a few bits and pieces. It's my birthday, we're going to celebrate. I'm going to be sending out some fabulous little prizes for you all. So Michelle, I know there are 1 or 2 more comments coming up. We'll have a couple more and then
Jojo said that she was told that she has healing energy and capability in her hands. She would like to know how she's to get started to check that
out. Good question, Jojo. You need to find a really good teacher. I do online classes, but I've no idea where you live, my darling. Online classes don't matter where you live, does it? But you need to find someone that you can trust to help you. Unfortunately, darling, we don't have time this morning to go more into it than that. But please email me and we'll let you know, if I've got any suggestions for you. Michelle, next.
Dean says thank you. Actually, thank you to Maggie, because Maggie said happy birthday to him too. So it's thank you to everybody. Rebecca said thank you.
Good morning, Rebecca.
She says, thanks, Rosemary. Please, any message from Greg? Well, thank you.
You've got to keep putting one step in front of the other, even though you're nervous about it. Don't be nervous. Don't be shy. Go after what it is that you're wanting, because I think your inability to trust yourself is holding you back. That's a message from Gregor. Yeah, next.
Kitty would like to know if your advice can be visual and not verbal.
What?
She would like to know for the competition if it's okay if the advice is visual, excuse me, and not verbal.
I haven't a clue what you mean, Kitty. So could you explain? Just, send it in and just send something in, whatever it is. I'm not quite sure what you mean, but Maybe you can ask me later and explain it. Next.
Dean said he still can't catch up to you. Ha 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 ha.
No, you can't. So, it's so true. And I'm going to add that they can't catch up to me with cooking because I give you advice, I give you a recipe, and what do? You butcher it. I'm just laughing. I'm laughing. This is the man, everyone, who wanted a recipe for the Christmas cake. And, you know, I'm always very careful with the ingredients. And this Christmas cake has a great deal of brandy in it, but Dean decided he was going to put twice as much in. I mean, I bet it was good, but anyway, keep going, Michelle. We're having a joke, Dean and I.
Maggie said, "Oh, those are fighting words, Deans. Rosemary's gonna respond."
Well, there you are. I did. Can't catch up to me even in the kitchen.
Kitty said that her question was more based off like someone that you watched during your life, so more like a lead by example, I think.
Yes. Look, whatever you want to put down in this competition, Kitty, we want to hear it. So go for it, my love. Yes.
Jojo said yes, she'll email. And Rebecca said, "Thank you, Rosemary. I'll work on that."
Oh, I do hope so, because you've got according to what Gradle is telling me, you've got so much potential, but you hold yourself back all the time because you don't trust yourself. That's not good. So we're rooting for you. Is that it?
That's it.
So thank you very much, all of you, for joining me. Remember the competition. Send in your entries, as many as you like. We just want to read them, and I'm going to be so interested to see what kind of advice that you might give to someone, or someone might have given to you. The best advice I think I've ever been given in my entire life was from Gregor, of course, and he says your world needs kindness. So that tells me, what he's saying to me is, be kind, be kind, be kind. I know we can't really beat that, can we? But that comes from the spirit world, and I'm so grateful for that, because really and truly, it's what it's all about. Being kind is what it's all about. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining me. And don't forget to join me on Saturday morning for my story time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll tell you a story, and of course there will be the opportunity, there always is, to ask any questions of me that you'd like. But I think you'll like this. Well, you're going to like all the stories. I'm not quite decided. I've got a choice here, but I'm not quite decided which story we're going to pick for Saturday. But please join me on Saturday. We're not sure if our Everything is Attitude show is on tonight, so to keep checking in. If it's on at all, it'll be 8 p.m. On my Facebook, is it? I can't remember. But anyway,
it's on the Healing Book.
It's, yes, Facebook, the healing page. And it's 8 a.m. We're going to try for that. We shall, and if not, I shall see you on Saturday morning. So thank you all for joining me. Please, please, please have a very, very blessed rest of the day. And please, please, all of you, have a joyful and a kind and a beautiful weekend. Thank you all. Bye-bye. My finger's going to come out now. Watch this. Let's see if I can do it like that. There we go.